Hello and welcome to FOFOP Friday. Good FOFOP Friday, I guess. There you go. Hello, it's Good Friday. If that is your sort of thing. For me, it's just a work day because I'm here at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. In fact, it's opening night. So if you are hearing this and it's on the Friday and you're looking for a night to come tonight because, the press are in. And if you come and it's full and you laugh really loud, they'll probably just ignore that and give me a terrible review. No, I really love this show. In fact, look, I say this all the time, but if I did not think it, then I shouldn't be doing the show in the first place. But I love this show. This is my favourite show that I've ever done. And I think the reason is mostly because I've just got to talk about Australia and our own country a bit, which is something I have erred and kind of steered away from in the last kind of 5 or 6 years as I've tried to make my material more international. But last year I did a political show and some of you heard me talk about that, and it just kind of really inspired me that there were some things back home that I was incredibly interested in, and some of the bits in the show even have grown out of that show. I touched a little on what happened to Adam Goodes back then, but I didn't have the words or the jokes to really fully express the point I was trying to make, but now I do. And I'm very proud of that routine in particular. It's probably the heart of the show to me. It's where the show started, and what the rest of the show is kind of about was that we had an instance in Australia where the Bullies won, and I didn't love it, and so I wanted to write a piece of material about that, and then that grew into an entire show. I started in Adelaide with about a 50-50 show. It was about 50 sort of, stuff that 50% stuff that I thought would travel internationally, about 50% Australian, and I thought that was a good mix. And by the end of Adelaide, well, I'm in at 60, 70 minutes of Australian stuff. And then there's a quick little international story at the end. But it is mostly an Australian show. And I've been loving doing that. It's just been great to be able to muck around in an area that I feel very passionate about, but also that, obviously that is my culture and is my life and the world that I live in and the country that has been most important to me, and speaking to the audience who are from that country. It's just been a great experience for me, and to use the skills I have now that I didn't have sort of 5 or 6 years ago when I stopped talking about these things. It's just been a real pleasure to do the show. So please come out and see the show. It's on for a month in Melbourne. It is on Wednesday through Sundays. Fewer shows this year, so we are going to run out of tickets. Basically, there are less tickets on sale this year than we sold last year. So please don't wait until the end and then complain to me and say, hey, there's no tickets left. And I'll say, well, why didn't you come on the first Thursday when there was? So anyway, that would be great. Sydney Opera House, that's coming up really soon. That's within the next 2 weeks. April the 7th, Thursday night. First show is getting close to sold out. But second show, still plenty of tickets available, and we'd love to fill them both up. Justin Hamilton doing support. And like I said, one night only in Sydney. So if you want to catch the show in Sydney this year, you've got to see it on April the 7th at the Sydney Opera House. What about that? What else? Well, got to tell you about this. It went on sale today. The live FOFOP at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival is on sale and already half sold out. It's amazing the support we've had for that show. We moved to a much bigger venue, and I'm glad we did, because even on this first day we sold double amount of tickets that would have filled the old room. So thank you so much for the support, and I would say if you want to come along to that, get in really quick, because that will sell out definitely before we do it. I would say at this rate, either that or there's 500 people who want to see it and then no one else does, and it'll just sit half empty for the next 2 weeks. But I'm hoping that won't be the case. We have got a superstar lineup at that thing, by the way. Daniel Sloss is going to come and do something. Lindsay Webb, Justin Hamilton, Felicity Ward, possibly Celia Piccola, if she's around, said she will do it. We've got a Jen Kirkman hologram. It's all hosted by John Deeks. And we have a very special guest star up our sleeve that we are not going to mention until the night. But I'm just telling you, if you like this podcast, then you're going to like the guest. That's all I'll say. Okay, all right. What else? Perth, that's the first week of May. So buy tickets to that. Oh, and my LA shows where Gareth Reynolds, who is today's guest on FOFOP, will be doing my support. I think that is on Thursday the 21st or something like that of April. So I'll let you know when that is on up and about, and you can grab some tickets to that as well. All right, that's the plugs. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There will be a new TOFOP on Sunday. Check out the regular TOFOPs that are now coming out. There's been regular Philosophies. There's a great new one with Tom Ballard, which I really love doing. The one before is probably the one that's had the most reaction of anyone I've ever done, with Osher Ginsberg. So if you haven't checked that out yet, he's amazingly honest about his struggles with alcohol and anxiety and a whole bunch of things, and it was just a really fun chat. And of course, Charlie and I now have an AFL football podcast, if that's your sort of thing. It's called Two Guys, One Cup. One episode up, but we'll try to do a new one next week after the first round of footy. So heaps of podcasts, and you will hear a discussion about me and all my podcasts on this very episode. So I hope you enjoy it, and talk to you again really soon. Cheers, guys.
The following episode of FOFOP is classified MA. It contains some coarse language, some nudity, drug references, a sex scene, time travel, terrible Batman impersonations, a Charlie Clausen, pronounced Clausen-shaped hole, and mild coarse language. FOFOP advises that the program is not suitable for persons under the age of 15, and minors must be accompanied by an adult guardian or priest. This is John Deek speaking.
Everyone relax. This is FOFOP. Ironically, I'm not relaxed.
Hello and welcome to FOFOP. I'm Wil Anderson, and returning guest Charlie Clausen, Gareth Reynolds is here. We actually are just recording this episode after we recorded the previous one you heard, but that was probably weeks ago. So
I love the timeline.
This is like what I'm trying to do now, Gareth, is that I'm trying to put out FOFOP on a Friday.
Right.
Willosophy on a Wednesday.
Faux Friday.
Faux Friday.
Right.
A Willosophy Wednesday.
I'm right.
And then TOFOP Sunday.
Interesting.
Sunday.
Interesting twist.
Sunday. Silent T. Silent
right.
T and Sunday.
Sure, like
TOFOP
songas.
putting
right.
like exactly, like Tsonga.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or like Tse. The
who doesn't know what you're talking about when you say that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to explain it.
Like
It'll be,
settee.
yeah, exactly.
The foreign ones that have the T up front.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Settees.
Anyway, so on Sunday, because that's when it used to come out.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that those podcasts come out every week on those days, but it means that when they come out, they're going to come out on those days because I needed to get some structure
Yes.
into my life. But FOFOP is the one that's easy. So this one, FOFOP Friday, it's the one
Friday.
it's always full FOFOP Friday.
For Friday.
FOFOP. It's hard to say, FOFOP Friday.
For Friday.
But thank TGIF, I say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank God it's FOFOP.
FOFOP Friday.
TGIFF.
He's my TGIFF.
To give.
So I did not realize what we did not realize. I've taken off in between the last podcast that we did and this podcast that we've just started.
Yeah.
I've taken off my hoodie.
Yes.
And it has revealed something that you spotted, which I did not spot at the time. But you are wearing a beer hat.
Yes.
Not one that has beers on the side of it. I should point out. When I say a beer
I have
hat,
that one too. I thought that'd be weird to wear.
I
Is that
feel
cool?
like I've conjured an image.
Let's podcast, baby! Yeah! Take a hit of this. Smoke this shit. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Gareth,
do you have a skateboard?
Gareth's wearing I'm podcasting with stupid t-shirt.
Yeah! And a foam finger to boot. Number one. I don't know what I'm rooting for, but yeah!
That's our new merchandise, faux foam fingers.
Foam fingers. For foam for fingers.
It's for Foam Finger Friday. TGIFFF.
It's TGIF cubed.
Foam Finger sounds like a very cheap version of the James Bond franchise.
yeah. Or just
Who am I up against this week? M? Foam Finger?
Yes. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to recognize I'm number one. That's it. Now you can go. I'm winning, baby. Or it sounds like a 99-cent store tampon ripoff. Get a foam finger. It might work. No, don't use it while camping. Not for camping use. This has bear attack written all over it.
Foam Fingers. They might work, not for camping.
Not for camping.
Yeah,
Do not camp with these.
In fine print. Said really quick at the end. Foam Fingers are not meant to use for camping.
Foam fingers. They might work. Do not use while camping. Terrified.
Did you watch any of the commercials? Well, speaking of beer, we mentioned the Super Bowl last time we were together because when we recorded this, it was close to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Seems like weird that, 5 weeks later, we're still talking about the Super Bowl.
That's life in space, gang.
So Gareth is wearing a PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon beer hat.
Yeah.
And I am wearing a Pabst Blue Ribbon T-shirt.
Yes.
It was revealed.
Together, we are the Paps Bros.
The PBR boys.
The Blue Boys, yeah. PBR boys. We're the faux perbers.
Yeah, it really does look like we're in like
we are sponsored I just say, that's why when I get sick and tired, I just like to come home, crack open a sweet PBR, let the day just pass me by.
I mean, it really does feel like a scene from a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
With all the random product. It's like, hey, does James Bond like PBR now?
2 venti macchiatos. Right. Listen, let's talk about the plan.
Thanks for my foot long.
Absolutely,
Anyway, back to
no
the plan.
problem. They were able to make that because the generator, which is Duracell, the number one battery in the nation, made it during this emergency.
That would be a great moment in a James Bond scene where he goes down to like Q, and Q's giving, and make sure you've got your Duracell batteries for this
Only
one.
use Duracell, James. It's too valuable to use Energizer or an Ever-Ready. If it's not a Duracell, it simply won't work. You know what I always say, Q, time is of the essence. Let me just get this out. If it's not a Duracell, you'll be in Durahell. Right? All right. Well, anyway. There's that. What else? Pretty much just a bunch of D batteries, if you really... I've really been obsessed with Duracell lately, honestly. Been putting them in everything. Every smoke detector's up to code, I can assure you that. There's no worry of that, James. James? Hello? James? Oh, bloody hell.
I like the idea that on the 1st of like July every year, Q replaces the batteries in every secret gadget.
Now's not a good time.
Right,
I'm doing my replacements. Come back tomorrow.
You saw Spectre though, didn't you? You saw that.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So what? So because I think I heard you on Comedy Film Nerds talking about Spectre and saying that it was you thought it was okay. It was, but
no, I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought that Skyfall was great. I really liked Skyfall, and I thought Spectre was good. But yeah, the action scenes are so entertaining. I think those are like worth it for me. That's why I'll see any of those Bond films with him, because I think those action scenes are so good. But yeah, I don't know. At the end of it, like, the truth is, it's funny because like this character, or like films in general, have sort of evolved now to the point where you think about like the Dark Knight series. Like, that was kind of the first time where a movie where the superhero character had like depth and flaws and all this stuff, and it worked, and people went and saw it. So then, now I think there's this new kind of version of James Bond. Like, I was watching the Pierce Brosnan ones. There was some marathon like 2 months ago, and I just jumped in and I was watching them, and I was like, these are terrible. They are so like, it's not good. It's just, it feels
like,
very contrived. It's just not, now there's an element of like realism to the Bond character and the Bond world. Like, the way that it works, it's still crazy, and the shit that goes on is crazy, but there's a little less magic to the whole thing. The Pierce Brosnan ones are absurd. Like, his disguises are insane. The stuff that he does is... believe it or not, even for James Bond, is too unbelievable, and they're just not. It's not nearly as entertaining as the ones now. So I think the ones now have this like, there's just kind of more depth to the character. The character is different, and but I do think also that you could lose some of the things that are always part, like. He still has to like fuck 3 girls a movie,
right.
And it's like, it's kind of like this to-do list. It's kind of like this barometer of, as you're going through, like, oh, he's fucked the 3rd. All right, we're getting to the climax here. Something big's gonna happen now,
right.
But it's just that to me is like a little like, hey, maybe we're holding on to this relic that we don't really need as much anymore.
Like, you don't really, and there's something about that it feels just like a bit more gross than it used to.
Yeah.
Like, in the old days, you were like, oh, it was the best James Bond movie. He had sex with 3 women. 2 of them died.
Yeah. Yeah. And she got harpooned through the heart.
Right.
Doesn't matter, though. James is fine. James will be fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the day of her husband's funeral.
Yeah.
And he really kind of wordlessly pushed her against the wall.
Yeah. Had his way with her after a couple drinks.
Forced his way.
She did say no. I mean, she's on record as saying no, literally.
Right. Yeah.
But
great movie.
Great movie. Great set. Great 3 awkward shower scenes.
It was early on, so she died.
She's dead, obviously.
Yeah,
she was the first one.
Died.
Yeah, they seemed to really hit it off, too.
Right.
I was shocked. They met in the hot tub.
I mean, he does have immediate connections with people. That's the thing about James.
Boom.
You know what he is? He falls hard.
He falls hard, fast, and then he's gone.
Right.
He really does. Yeah. It's pretty much all or nothing. He's the king of 8-hour relationships.
Right. It must be hard. It must be a real turn for him because, like, just based on his record, like the fact that, like, James Bond is essentially one of those people. Like, you know, the gun argument was always like, "Yeah, I have the right to my gun." But if your hobby started, like, you know, killing people, like whatever I'm into, like, you know, if watching Lost, if they worked out that watching Lost suddenly was like killing heaps of people,
right?
I'd be like, well, you know what? Like, I always liked watching Lost, but that was when it wasn't killing people.
Live. Yeah, it's almost like James Bond is like The Ring, but as a man. Like, if your daughter comes home and is like, I met the greatest guy.
Right.
Do you know James Bond? They'd be like, you don't see him again.
Right.
We're burying you underground.
When you see James Bond's ring.
Yeah.
Anyone who sees James Bond's ring.
Did you see his ring?
Did you see his ring?
You have 6 days.
Right.
Maximum. Anything outside of that'll be a goddamn miracle. What? You idiot. James Bond has slept with over 3 billion women. He's the king of the 8-hour courting. Let me guess, you fucked in a shower, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're dead.
You're dead for sure.
Yeah.
I'll bring in a doctor if you need.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
You'll die.
Yeah.
Get out of here, doctor. Goodbye.
After he has sex with people, like, they think he's left a note, but it's really just like, you know, legally binding documents dividing your assets.
Who are you? I'm a notary.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready. I think that everything, if there's anything you want to do, just make it in pen right now. I'll have it written
You wake up, there's somebody measuring you.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, what?
Sorry, I'm the coffin guy.
Yeah, I'm just, they said come in this morning.
I think a medium. Give you a little room to play around in.
Yeah, what do you think?
Sorry about that. Sorry that you fucked James Bond.
Oh, well.
Anyway, you knew the deal, right?
Literally the third biggest killer.
It goes heart disease, mobile device death, fucking James Bond. Those are the top 3.
More people die per year fucking James Bond than are killed by terrorists.
Than cancer, AIDS, and terrorism combined. If those 3 fucked and had a baby, James Bond's sex would still kill more people.
I mean, but this is the thing. Like, say 80% of the women you had sex with died.
Whoa.
Within a week of you having sex with them.
Oh, Jesus. That's
because I mean,
could be a blessing and a curse at times.
Because essentially, this is this is early on. You're like, oh well, you know,
it kind of sounds like Cosby numbers,
right?
Yeah,
like if it suddenly came out. Like, there's your take on James.
Oh my God.
James Bond we haven't seen before. We're like, well, you know what the big story is? I know he's like saved a lot of, like, he's done a lot of cool things, but you know that like 80% of the women that he fucked died within a week, right?
James Bond, D is for death.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can have someone like singing the opening theme. 'Cause D is for death.
I just think it's like, that's a pattern.
Yeah.
But there'd be, after a while, you'd put your cock away, right?
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like, well, I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're like, well, you know. I mean,
you'd probably, well, at that point, there'd probably be someone online who you could go to and be like, will my dick kill her, doctor? What do you think? And you'd be like, I could say certainly that 75% she will survive. You'd be like, what do you, do you like that? How bad do you want to know? I mean, like I said, I've lost 3 fiancés to this, so today I should be very clear. I'm looking to settle down if that's not coming across.
Yeah, I fall hard. I have
Bondisms.
Yeah, I may come on a little too strong. I got to be honest with you. If I was on like the Bonchula, people would be like, he's too full on. Yeah. I have crazy eyes. I know. I get it.
I get it. Look, that's the way God made me.
I'm all or nothing.
Listen,
I'm real all or nothing. And I've had a bad run. I mean, fuck me once, shame on me. But fuck me twice, shame on you. Because you're dead.
That's the new Bond film. Fuck me twice, shame on you. Fuck me twice, shame on you.
I mean, it's something you've got to tell your partner about. Like, I mean, if you've got an STD, an STI or whatever, like, then it's obviously you've got to tell your partner about it. If you're having like a, you know, one of these sort of because he doesn't know these people's sexual histories.
No.
Like, you know, doesn't know what they've been doing or like, you know.
I bet he's got some pretty cool gadgetry in the condom though, if he uses one.
You know what? That's probably what it is.
Q's like, yeah. Put this in her bottom a little bit, James. Right. She will go crazy. Q, what's going on? Make sure to use a Duracell.
Right.
As I was saying before, James. The only thing for the bum waggler is a Duracell. All right, Q. This has gone far enough. That's all right. Just get so lonely down here, you know, James. One just sits conceiving all day. Makes a man wonder. James, hello? Is he? God, how does he keep... It's only one door. It's not... Anyway. You complete me, Duracell. I'm still here. James, hello! I was wondering where you'd been. Look at I don't have... Oh, goodness.
Well, I guess he would be like, because if he's like having sex with that many women, you'd imagine that he is probably dropping in a queue for some, at the very least, some sort of super condom.
Yeah.
Like, but something that vibrates set off by his watch. Or
right.
Sort of
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
There'd be heaps of that
Click
shit.
this button twice and it'll begin to vibrate, James.
Right.
She won't know what hit her.
Because, I mean, maybe that's... Because he's doing a lot of, like, no questions asked fucking. Like, I mean, he's got to be using protection.
Something. Yeah.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, he's just riddled with
Unless his government agency has a cure for everything. And he comes in, he's like, God, I'm peeing razor blades. They're like, open your mouth, James. There we are. That'll make that go away. He's like, oh, God, thank God. Last few days have been terrible. Yes, James. Maybe wrap it up next time. Anyway. It's so lonely down here.
That's essentially the plot to Limitless, that TV show.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like he needs his NZT. But it's supposed to be James Bond. It's just for his herpes.
Just so that he can walk.
Just for his syphilis.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just, horrible cough and my cock's burning. James, for God's sake. At some point, you must learn a lesson. Open your mouth. Put out your hand. There we go. That's all gone now. Got AIDS again. Well, for God's sake, James. Open your mouth. Open it. So lonely.
I thought with the Bond film that I felt it was a bit of a weird mix of like occasionally it felt like they were trying to do a bit of that old school Pierce Brosnan or like Roger Moore sort of like kind of more funny Bond or whatever. And your Daniel Craig Bond is just did you see the trailer for the new Jason Bourne film that they played during the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like that, whatever many seconds of that seemed like more exciting than the whole of that James Bond film to me.
Yeah, I agree. It really, I mean, there a lot needs to go right. Like, I mean, it must be a really fucking hard thing to write because you are like, how do you walk this line of what the tone of your movie really is? Because you do live in reality, but such a heightened reality that like, what really are the rules? But the last one, it just didn't feel like there was, again, I mean, it's really what interlaces those key set piece moments. How good is that thing? And in Spectre, it wasn't as good as Skyfall, and for the most part, these Daniel Craig ones do a really good job of having a good drive. And if it has a good villain, then you're like, oh, that's a good Bond movie.
Yeah.
I thought, what's his name?
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, I didn't think he was great. Who was the one before in Skyfall? Fuck is his name? Fuck. Let's just call him Marijuana because that's who we blame. Fuck, I wish I could remember his name. Javier Bardem.
What was I in my head? What I wanted to say was Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too.
And then as soon as I had that in there, as soon as you've got like one thing that you know is wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like...
You're stuck to it. You're like, it's definitely 3 words.
Yeah. It's definitely not this guy.
It's definitely not that.
But this is all you can think of now.
That's all I got.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he's a very good actor.
And that was like a really weird sort of like villain. It was like that was way more interesting. Christopher Waltz, I think
he waltzed through it.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of Toe Friday.
Of podcasting.
Toe Friday. Of podcasting.
It's the end of podcasting.
Podcasting didn't go out on top necessarily today, but it is over. Wil Anderson and Gareth Reynolds called it at a strange moment.
Should we call it?
Yeah, I think we're good here.
I think we're good.
Mark Maron, not upset. Adam Carolla, bummed out.
I mean, at some stage, I guess podcasting won't die because, I mean, it's like the like I guess the medium is like available now, and so I guess people will just because everyone's got a show now. Like I mean, this is the interesting thing about the world of podcasting, like and YouTube and all those sort of things, and what they've opened up to people is the idea that it's the democratization of entertainment. You know, like I mean, even if people stop listening to podcasts, like will people keep making them? I guess you will now because you can.
Yeah, I think you will. I mean, if you think about it a little bit like a YouTube channel, like, you know, there's people who are not having much success on a YouTube channel, but will still put it out there because it is something, you know, something you're working on that you're developing. I think you're constantly developing it in your mind in one way or another, whether it's connected to reality or not.
I mean, the interesting thing about podcasts, I reckon, is when they finish. Because, like, with a television show or with anything like that, no one really expects, like, even a radio show, no one expects that you will do it forever. There are some people who, you know, those lucky few who end up doing it forever.
Yeah.
But most people go into one of those things going, okay, well, at best, I'll probably do this for, like, you know, 4 or 5 years or whatever. But with a podcast, like, podcasting, like, essentially the slogan should be, there was no reason to start, so why is there a reason to stop?
Yeah, it's very true.
Like, you know, some things have natural endings.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, you wouldn't, like, after The Office, I mean, The Office did fucking, you know, 13 episodes, the UK Office, and we're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, but you do fucking 500 podcasts, and people are like, why did you stop doing your podcast?
I felt like it was getting old. Well, it was, whatever, though.
But that's podcasting.
That's podcasting,
Just keep doing it.
Okay.
Okay, I guess.
So when you're running out of shit to talk about. What else? Fuck. I think that might be everything I wanted to say.
Right.
So
yeah, you get to something really passionate that starts with Z. You're like, and so that's what I think about zoos, and
all
I
right.
guess.
And going through my list, that is everything. I'm going to do a quick 20-minute one on ampersands, but then I'll be out.
Little ampersand encore.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ampercast. This is where I tear apart ampersands, which again is such a lazy way of saying and.
Right. So this is Wil Anderson. I finally run out of Wil puns, so I move on to the last name,
which is Ampersanderson.
Ampersanderson.
Ampersanderson here on Faux Friday. Ampersanderson. You're sponsored by Ampersand. But there's one caveat, Will. We want you to call yourself Wil Ampersanderson.
I mean, to be honest, that's not too bad.
Great. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Get him the cash, guys.
Now, I have actually recently had a baby boy, so could I call the business Wil Ampersanderson and Son?
Guys, get your hands out. Shake his hand. Shake this winner's hand, okay? Shake his goddamn hand. Hopefully some talent rubs off on you jerk-offs. We love it, Will. We love you and we love it. And we love your son, Ampersand Sanderson. He's got a kid and it's your Ampersand Granderson.
He's really good friends with Ian Ziering's kid, so it's he's Ampersand Steve Sanderson. Ampersand Steve Sanderson. Not worth it.
He loves fried chicken, so he's gonna be Wil Amperkernel Sanderson.
Well, he's very political, so he's Wil Ampersand Bernie Sanderson. I mean, essentially, those last three have just been the same joke.
Sniffing around it.
And if you're a Sanders who didn't get a shout out in that bit,
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Or the Simpsons neighbor, Wil Sanderson or Ned Flanderson.
Yeah, like finishing, like going, okay, we're done now. This is I mean, it's been weird for me in my podcasting world in that, like, you know, FOFOP, Charlie and I, like, the podcast has no reason to be. Like, podcasts now, which I like, you know, a lot of the podcasts I listen to have, like, you know, I love Green Guide Letters, or I will listen to the Dollop, or I like, you know, these things that you're like, oh, well, this is the purpose of this. Something wonky, which is like political podcast, or like, I love Junk Time AFL podcast, but they all have specific purposes to be podcasts.
Yeah.
Whereas FOFOP was just like, Charlie and I hanging out, and like, you know, and so, and then that became this FOFOP, which is now like To be honest, I mean, well, we've done like 240 of these or whatever. So this is actually the big one.
This is the one.
But this is really like the.
But it's fun. That's
this is like the sidekick that's done better than the original. Like this is like the side project that went better than the.
It's like, this is the feature beating the headliner at the gig.
Yeah, or it's like when some guy from some band like goes out and just like
it's like Phil Collins leaving Genesis.
Right.
They're like, "You're a drummer. Get out of here."
Yeah. So it's like, it has had a little bit of that. It's had.
But that's part of the thing that I like about podcasts too, though, is that they naturally develop and unfold, and there's just this sort of like, because it's very, I think, audiences feel very connected to them. I think there is this way that like, it's almost like if your podcast is the sail, like what people think is the wind, and will like make you develop things. Yes, I'm Native American, obviously, but it will. It's sort of like things that are throwaways to you become running jokes, or like things that just happened organically become, I mean, there's many things on both of our podcasts that are just things that have been sort of dictated by reaction. So I think there's something so interesting about when a podcast starts as you and Charlie, and then here you are, it's interesting.
Yeah, but the other thing about it is because like it also, because none of them stop. If you add anything, you suddenly like find. So Charlie and I for years have wanted to do this AFL podcast,
right?
And like, so this year we were going to do that AFL podcast, but then we were like, well, we want to do TOEFOP again regularly. So I'm like, okay, we should do TOEFOP again regularly,
right?
But of course, in the meantime, I've built up FOFOP to be this like different thing as well. I'm like, well, I don't want to stop doing FOFOP. I like doing that now, so I'll keep that going. And then I've got like philosophy as well. Yeah. And then suddenly you're a guy with 4. Like crazy. It's like I have an imaginary radio station.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like
fun,
I work like on this imaginary, like I'm essentially a kid in the backyard playing fucking radio with all my shows.
Will, come inside.
Like none of it makes any money. Like it's all like I'm essentially like, and now even just on airtime, that's like literally a day of my week just to record them, let alone edit them and put them on the internet and shit. Like I'm like taking a day out of every fucking week minimum to run my imaginary radio station. Like sometimes I look at that and go, what the fuck are you doing? Like seriously.
Oh, your imaginary radio station.
I'm the boss and I'm on all the shows.
Deadlines, advertising.
Stop the podcast! I yell at no one. I yell at the dogs.
There's just a stuffed animal sitting in a chair.
I have a little thing that says CEO.
Yeah, CEO.
TOEFOP Enterprises.
Hello.
Charlie's CFO.
Yeah. You're just interviewing stuffed animals, dogs, couch pillows.
I mean, because that's the thing.
A toothbrush.
Like, I'm constantly thinking.
Now you're in a lot of mouths.
I'm constantly thinking of other podcast ideas. I'm like, the one thing I know I don't need in my life.
Another
more podcasts.
podcast, yeah.
I don't. I need less podcasts, but I don't know.
They are. It is amazing when, like, sometimes, you'll just, some weeks you'll just shape up and you're just doing a ton of podcasts. And it's one of those things, too, where it's like, if I'll tell my mother, like, I just got to go podcast all day. And she's like, who is it for? I'm like, no, never mind.
I notice it when I go home to Sydney, because when I do it here, like I just leave, like you come in here, it's all set up.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a pretty casual thing that I just do.
Yeah.
Podcasting is a fine thing to do if no one's watching.
Yeah.
But what I've found is, if like there's someone else around,
not podcasting, watching a podcast.
Well, no, I don't even mean just there, but I mean observing the thing actually happening.
Right.
Like, I mean, for all intents and purposes today, no one knows we're in here podcast.
Right.
Like, I don't, like the neighbors don't go, oh, what are they going to do? Like, or whatever. There's no one else who's in this house here who's like, I'll go out when your podcast's on.
Yeah.
Like podcasting is one of those things that when you're doing it by yourself, you don't think you're doing it a lot.
Yeah.
But when there's other people around, you're like, I've got to do a podcast. They're like, how much are you podcasting?
Like, just 2 more today, and then just 1 tomorrow, and
they're like, really?
How's your imaginary radio station going? Right. Good. It's good. Things are good with it.
Because that's essentially what
I'm the CEO, so
I just got to go out and work on my imaginary radio station.
Have fun. I wish you'd just build a time machine. Right. It's so sad. Hello, welcome to the imaginary radio station.
Yeah. It's like, do you have a hobby? Yeah, I have an imaginary radio station.
Yeah, I build trains and I also run a radio station in my head.
It's an imaginary radio station. It's like
Pretend. It's like, when a kid gets foil on a tin can and talks into it.
Right.
Just like what
It's
I'm
like
doing.
that. But if that kid gave himself 4 shows,
Yeah.
4 different
Four
shows.
different cans to use. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That boils it down, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Worthy.
The Super Bowl commercials, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Did you watch any of the Super Bowl commercials? Are you a person who enjoys commercials?
No. I think they used to be very funny. Like, Super Bowl commercials used to be very funny, and I feel like they're just running on fumes for when they used to be funny now, because there are some that are funny.
Not this year, there were.
But I didn't watch any this year because now what's happened is it's become like anyone can get one. So, it's a money thing. It used to be that there were kind of like, I don't even know what the real difference would be, but it seemed like 10 years ago they were much funnier, and now they just kind of run on the fumes of that time period.
Well, I think what they do is they do that classic thing. Like, you won't see that many fucking celebrities like at the Oscars.
Right.
Like, there are so many. If you were a fucking celebrity and, you weren't in a Super Bowl ad, then you'd ring your fucking agent.
Yeah.
So what they do is they pay for all these celebrities and stuff instead of like coming up with original or inventive ideas now. Like, the ads were shit.
Yeah.
Like, the worst. This is meant to be like the biggest, like, advertising moment of the entire
without
year in
question.
the world.
Yeah.
And they were shit this year. I thought they were really poor.
Yeah, it is, it's such a competitive.
Oh, and by the way, Snickers, if you're listening, we get it. We get that.
We're good on that.
Yeah, we're good on that joke.
We're happy.
Feels
like we peaked.
Yeah. Hey, you know how if you just reply, like, it's
End the podcast, Snickers.
It's the same joke.
Yeah.
It's the same joke, guys.
Yeah. It's not getting better either.
It's not getting better.
No, but that's, and that's.
Oh, you know who'll make it better? Willem Dafoe.
No.
Willem Dafoe's never made anything better for a
I don't think he's
start.
ever eaten a Snickers.
Like, Willem Dafoe being like, you're not even trying anymore.
Marilyn Dafoe.
I mean, if there'd been anything that clever in the ad.
Yeah. I don't even know the ad you're talking about.
I
didn't watch him.
No, but it's the fucking.
But it's the same bit.
It's the same bit.
Yeah. You don't need to see him. No, it is.
I'll explain it to you. It's Willem Dafoe in the iconic Marilyn
Itch.
Monroe, dress over the grate.
Yeah,
the one
7-year itch.
And she's taking so that's the scene. Except it's Willem Dafoe like being angry, like, why would you even get a woman on a crate with a whatever?
Yeah, why would she even do this?
And it's like Marilyn, yeah. And it's the dude from American Pie. What's his name? Eugene Levy, or no? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's a very funny guy.
Yeah,
So I think it's him. He's like the director or whatever. Like, and it's like, Marilyn, have a Snickers, and then she has, like, Willem Dafoe has a Snickers and turns into Marilyn.
He turns into Marilyn Monroe? He really does?
Yeah.
So they're using Marilyn Monroe's likeness for a Snickers? I always think that's so fucking weird when they can bring someone back from the dead to shill a product.
Yeah. It's terrible.
But like Marilyn Monroe, the idea that she's still doing Snickers commercials, that's not fair.
Even after you're dead.
Bring back Elvis for Carl's Jr. commercials.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, I don't want to be brought back. Well, there was an iconic, I think it was a Coke or Diet Coke commercial where that was the first one where they all brought them back, remember? And they had, like, it was kind of like a come to life Boulevard of Broken Dreams sort of thing.
It had a point.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
But they nailed it.
But now Marilyn Monroe is like,
like Marilyn Monroe is Willem Dafoe.
Marilyn, yeah.
I mean, this is like a
Dafoe Monroe.
What are you thinking, Snickers?
Well,
like, you've had a whole year to go, well, we're doing this same bit again, I guess.
How do we make this bit really insane and not connective?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking shit. Made me angry.
As somebody who, like, so the biggest sporting event in Australia, what is the commercial situation? Like, is it ever anywhere near as gratuitous as it is here?
So, firstly, we don't have a national sport in the same way as, like, the NFL really truly is, like, that everyone watches it. Like, everyone watches the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And because of the way that day has been, we were talking 100 million plus people, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, there is nothing, and it dominates television. Like, no other shows are doing those sort of numbers these days. So, and $5 million for a 30-second spot and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything that will ever the highest, like the grand finals in Australia get like 3-4 million people,
Right.
like maximum.
Okay.
And there's two codes that kind of split it a little bit. So the AFL does better in the eastern, like the Victorian and South Australia, Western Australia,
Right.
and like the NRL does better in Sydney and Queensland and all those sort of places. So whatever, like it splits it a little bit, and
But they don't ever play each other.
and no, they're different because they're different codes. That'd be great though.
But if you could do that, you'd have a Super Bowl.
You know what? That is a fucking great idea.
It would be great.
Because it's even better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they're two different sports.
Yeah.
But if you could come up with, Gareth, you
just have-
know what that is? That's someone in Australia. We've been too close to see it.
Yeah.
We needed that outside eye.
Hey, listen, I'm the bird in the sky, baby.
We needed a consultant, somebody to kind of like see it from a different
I'll
angle.
be in the office.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang on. If at the end of the AFL season where they play Australian rules football and the NRL season where they play rugby league, that the winners of both of those grand finals went on to in a game that was like a combination of
They
the
play
two
in
sports.
a sanctioned combination game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even just what a great build up, like coming up with the rules of the game.
Oh, great.
Like the negotiations.
Because the first year, you're not going to get it right the first year. There's
No.
going to be a couple off rules that you're
It's
going to be
gonna-
like, we won't do that again.
All right, so one of the AFL guys got killed in a
Right.
tackle.
Okay, obviously, we need to limit those sort of tackles.
Right.
I think we're going to side with the Australian rules football a little more on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be great.
Combine them,
To
yeah.
combine.
Is that, I mean, it's, we can find, there's a middle ground there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there isn't really.
Well,
and that's the best
it'll be fun to find that there isn't, though, right?
That's the best thing about it.
Journey's
is
the best part.
That they really are like both supreme athletes that wouldn't be suited like to each other's game.
Right.
So it's like one of those great things of like find some game in the middle that's a great idea. Like the week after the grand finals, you have the super grand final.
Yeah, the super weird bowl.
Sport versus sport.
Sport, yeah. Welcome back to Sport versus Sport. Not sure how this is going to go at all.
I mean, that's a great idea. That we should have some world sport versus sport competition, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where the teams that have won their individual competitions.
Yeah, the winner of
there's-
the World Cup, the Super Bowl.
But they all play not the same game. They're
No.
all playing games that are halfway combinations of the two sports that they play.
right, yeah.
So you'd have like maybe the Golden State Warriors in the basketball could be playing like
AFL. Steph Curry is not getting up, ladies and gentlemen. He is. I don't. It looks like he's the magician's assistant who got cut in two pieces. I mean, he is. His legs are moving, which is a good sign. Head's still. Head's very still.
not connected to each other.
Obviously, different parts of the field.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like when you talk about the world's greatest sports people. Like, I mean, who would you consider? If I asked you right now, who's the greatest sports person in the world? Who's like the greatest athlete in the world? Who would come to mind?
In the world?
In the world.
So, like, when I would think of who is the most, the athlete that I say the world knows the most, almost. Or who do I think?
Who do you think the most common answer to the question, because it goes to then a broader conversation. So just instinctively answer it at this point. If I said to you, who's the world's greatest athlete, who would you say it is?
I would probably say Messier. But I would also say LeBron James. I would say one of those two, I think, probably have the biggest international brand.
Right, but you've gone with brand.
Yeah.
Like, who's the greatest athlete in the world? Like, if they were saying...
The greatest athlete in the world.
If they were saying, who's the greatest athlete in the world? Like,
Right.
if aliens came to Earth and said, bring us your greatest athlete.
We want your best athlete.
Yeah, I don't know why they speak like that. They think we speak like that. They don't even speak like that.
Oh, wait, you guys talk regular too?
Right. Oh, sorry.
Hello, Earth. No, they talk regular.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys?
They've been doing the equivalent of shouting loudly at foreigners. Take us to your leader. No, we don't talk like that. We speak like this. But we assumed you guys.
Oh, so sorry. Here, this is terrible news. Hey, how you guys doing? Cool.
Yeah, who's who if they were going to say who's the world's greatest athlete?
I would probably have to say that I think it would be LeBron James.
So, could the argument not be made that LeBron James is not even the best player in the sport that he plays at the moment?
Well, you could argue that he's not. You could argue that he's not, but I would say he's the most athletic player in the sport right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I would think if you're just talking about like if America or like, you know, like if you had this great competition that I'm loving where we're talking about, but if you have this competition where we have to be like, we don't know exactly what they're going to throw at you, but you're representing America, I think we would send LeBron James probably.
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he does seem to have like what you could consider to be
he could play in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah. He could play.
He could play in the NFL. He could definitely play Australian rules football. He'd be great at that.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably be fine with cricket. He's got good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, he'd probably be good with cricket.
You can imagine.
Yeah. Baseball, I bet he'd be okay.
Yeah, I reckon he'd be fine at baseball. He'd clobber, and he probably could pitch really
Swimming,
well as well.
like I bet he could fucking swim pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could swim.
Yeah.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who could swim.
Upper body, lower body. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Ride a horse? Could he ride a horse?
I don't see him crushing horse riding.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we even considering horse riding like as being part of this?
I mean, if
like,
that's part of it, there's a lot of athletes that are going to be like, what the fuck is that doing up there?
Like, I guess it's where you draw the line as like,
and the jockey's like, boom.
Because I mean, like, how quick's LeBron say over? Like, he'd be fast over a short distance, but he wouldn't be good over like. So if you're competing in the marathon or whatever, LeBron would be no good though. Like,
no,
he'd be no good in your endurance sports. Like even like
Ironman
Ironman or triathlon, wouldn't he be too like, you know? I don't know if he'd be.
But I mean, he's in pretty exceptional shape. I mean, I feel like he would be able to probably do a triathlon.
I saw him cramping up in a basketball game.
It's true.
If you're cramping up in a basketball game, how are you going to get through a fucking triathlon?
Fair.
LeBron.
Maybe we shouldn't send LeBron.
Right. Well, I mean, no one's going to
Can he have an IV with him?
Be the perfect all-rounder, but it's why, like, I mean, Bruce Jenner, and I say Bruce Jenner because I'm referring to
the former.
When Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner.
Yes.
Won the decathlon at the Olympics.
Yes.
And was like kind of the American hero.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood why decathlon at the Olympics is not considered to be the number one sport.
Yeah.
Don't you think it should be?
Yeah. Like it makes sense.
It feels to me like we lose something that I mean, I'd love to see Usain Bolt like dominate like the 100 and the 200.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to see him compete in the decathlon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or like, you know, because it was always one of those things where you're like, okay, well, he's not the fastest sprinter in the world, but he can do high jump, javelin, and whatever, like, quite well.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, that's an all round thing. I think that's more of a.
That's what we should do. We should have there should be like a mini Olympics where, and this is going to sound like that Dollop, but we should have like a mini Olympics where you just nominate these athletes to go and compete in like these 5 random games, and that would be more interesting.
How about this?
Okay, I'm in.
It's the decathlon, but you can choose which 10 Olympic sports you compete in to make up your 10 events for the decathlon.
Oh, wow.
So if you're at the Olympics already, so if you qualify in one sport,
right,
maybe you have to qualify in like probably minimum like 2 sports, right? Whatever, to get an entry into the decathlon, right? So say you're really good at 100 and 200, that would be like, or what, I can't remember what the events of the decathlon are, but like say you're really good at like long jump and shot put.
Right.
So you qualify for both of those, which means you're immediately into the decathlon, right?
Yeah.
Then you can choose another 8 events, and it's where you come ranking wise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like in those events, that give you the points. So it can be anything.
So it's that is basic. It's like American Gladiators.
Like it's a free range decathlon.
Yeah, you're just trying to accumulate.
And by the end, it's basically who can do the best at the Olympics.
Yeah, you work on a point system.
Right.
Yeah, who wins the Olympics.
Right.
And doesn't really win the Olympics.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but these middle-tiered athletes who are pretty good, you know,
could be like the Olympics could be one. The greatest athlete of the Olympics could be a guy who's
jack of all trades, masters of none.
Best performance was like a 4th in gymnastics.
Yeah,
but
that would be really got hurt on the high bars.
Right.
Yeah.
But didn't worst result was like 18th in sailing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know how to do this properly.
I mean, I love this. Like, kind of just any 10 events. It's a decathlon.
All right, and it's like ordering food. You're like, pick your 10.
Yeah, because I mean, there'd be some strategic advantage to that. You'd be like, I just think I can pick up some points on the curling or whatever. You're like, you can do the Olympic winter sports?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Any sport.
It's any sport. Someone check curling? That's going to be $40,000. Just for one? Yeah, fine, fuck it. We invented the Middle Olympics.
I was thinking the other day that comedy, I think, is one of those things where, like, there's a range of skills to be a comedian, like, or that can be handy being a comedian.
Right.
But not every comedian has all those skills, and it's not necessary to have all those skills.
Right.
Like, you know, I imagine to like. I mean, I can never come up with what the exact right analogy of this is. But for example, like to do great impressions is a handy skill to have as a comedian.
Yes.
You can easily be a comedian without the skill to do great impressions.
Yeah.
But it is something that, like, you know, like works.
It'll work for you.
Right.
It's a skill for sure. And it'll do well in clubs.
Right. And I wonder in this age where we're becoming more and more sensitive, because like as an Australian comedian coming to America, hearing people do like a generic Asian voice on stage sounds really racist to us.
Is that still happening?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But here's what I've noticed. Is nearly all voices sound racist now.
Yeah.
Like we're getting to the point where it's hard to do even an impression of like a country. I mean, there's still some places that, you know, you'll always be able to make fun of the French or whatever, or like Scotland or whatever, where people don't have specific like negative stereotypes attached to those things. But anytime anyone does like an impression these days, most of the time it just kind of sounds racist.
It's true. There have been times where like on the Dollop, there'll be something where it's like it's like a Japanese person,
right?
And you can't. It just doesn't seem right.
The minute it's an Irish person, you've opened a can of comedy.
Oh, it's time. Scottish, like you're saying, French, but
a can o comedy. Sorry, I should say. But it's but there are certain accents that
I think you can even do. I think like an Indian accent, I feel like you can do in a non-racist way. I feel like an Asian accent is much harder to navigate.
I don't know if you can do an Indian accent in a non-racist way anymore.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, without like, at least stumbling into like
something
racism,
offensive.
which is like sad because, you know, a good Indian accent is one of the more delightful things to hear in the world.
It's like a curry.
Right.
A good curry is one of the best things in the world.
I mean, now you've made it racist.
Wait, no.
Hang on. So all Indians eat curry. That's what.
No, I would never. No, that's not. No, I would. No, absolute. No, I was talking to my nan the other day. Not bread. My nan.
Not that long ago, and this is like how casual racism can be. Like, I mean, when I grew up in Australia, like, because we play, cricket against like India and Pakistan.
Yeah,
and Australia also has a huge Indian.
This is the same with what you're about to say. I think is the same with England, where my family like. There's a huge, keep going.
Okay, so we have a huge Indian population to the point when during the World Cup of cricket, the One Day World Cup, the Indian games were getting bigger attendances than the Australian games.
Right.
You know, because there's just so many Indian people and they love their cricket, you know. And it was, so the thing I was going to say, so there's heaps of Indian people there. What was the fucking point of that thing?
They all like curry.
So... we would play against Pakistan. The West Indies, we call them the Windies.
Sure.
We'd play against England. They were called the Poms, obviously.
The Poms?
The Poms.
What's that?
Oh, that's like what Australians called English people, Poms.
Why?
There was I'm going to Google it. Can you pass me that computer? Just chuck me over the computer and I'll Google it because there is a story behind this because...
P-O-M-S?
Yeah, P-O-M-S.
Poms.
Yeah, Poms. And it does mean something. And
hopefully it means people of Her Majesty's service.
Poms. Here we go. Let's see. Poms. Urban Dictionary, Pom. Here we go. Pom. Either comes from prisoner of Mother England.
Oh, okay.
Or pomegranate, a reddish-coloured fruit that native Australians thought had a similar colour to the skin of sunburnt Brits.
Oh, they're both so good.
So one was prisoner of Mother England, so Pom really without the E on the end though. Mother England. Prisoner of Mother England.
I think obviously the pom being pomegranate because the skin is better.
Yeah, that's better.
Nothing's better than watching like English people fall asleep on a beach. You're like, I'll see you tomorrow, lobster man.
So that we call English people Poms.
Poms.
In Australia. So you call the English the Poms, you call the New Zealanders the Kiwis.
Right. And that's because of the kiwi fruit.
Because of the Kiwi bird.
The Kiwi bird.
Native bird.
Right.
The Kiwi.
Right. Yep.
It's a native bird of New Zealand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have it. I think it's the symbol of Air New Zealand, the Kiwi.
Right.
Which is interesting because the Kiwi is a flightless bird. There you go.
Wow, that's why I go Qantas.
Interesting Kiwi facts.
Yeah, that is
Well, they're the flying kangaroo, Qantas. So, again.
also quite a
lie.
dream.
This is all based on a lie.
Yeah, I don't think any of these airlines fly. Virgin.
It is weird that you are willing to go with an airline that literally has a symbol of a thing that doesn't fly.
Invented, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
flying kangaroo.
It's a flying kangaroo, mate.
Be fine, mate.
At least
Get in the patch.
I mean, at least it could have been a boomerang. Do you know what I mean?
This is the same airport. Listen, get off the fucking plane.
Thanks for flying Boomerang Air.
Thanks for flying Boomerang Airs. Have a lovely day. The weather's the same as it was when we took off earlier. I have business. No wonder it was so goddamn cheap. It took us in a circle. I'm waiting on my luggage. What is going on?
So we got the Kiwis, the Poms, we got the West Indies, who we called the Windies.
The Windies.
South Africa.
Oh boy.
What
do you call them?
Africa? I don't know what we called the South Africans. Actually, I can't remember what the South Africa. There was a period of time where they didn't play because of apartheid and stuff. So
weak excuse, by the way.
I mean, it wasn't their excuse. It was the rest of the world's excuse.
Yeah,
it was us saying we shouldn't play against you because
we're ready. We're excited.
Right? Yeah. No. Sorry, guys.
We don't have any gear.
The Proteas, I believe, is their actual
Proteas.
Proteas, but they're like it's a flower. The Protea.
Oh, okay. Does it fly?
But the two that I wanted to get to was the Pakistanis, who we would call the Pakis,
Yeah.
and the Indians, who we would call the Curry Munchers.
That one's definitely off. But
That's pretty racist.
But
I mean, I can't believe there was a time when we put because not in a he's a dirty, rotten curry muncher.
No.
Literally oh, geez, we've got a big game against the curry munchers tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't seem bad. Well, if you think about it, in the NFL, we still have a team called the Redskins,
Right.
which is horribly offensive.
Yeah, this week the Redskins are playing the curry munchers.
Yeah.
That's what it would be like.
Who do you like?
Right.
You rooting dots or feathers? Who we got in this big one?
Which Indians do you want?
Which Indians
From
are
the
you rooting
subcontinent
for?
or the Native American ones?
Come on, curry munchers. I just want the seating to be different. But that was the same in England, though. I was always shocked in England when I would go there about the casual racism towards Pakistani and Indian people. It was very strange and prevalent.
Well,
very prevalent.
Even calling the corner store like the
Paki shop
the
or
Paki
whatever.
shop
Yeah.
or the Paki.
Yeah.
Although
That's what they would say, though. Going down the Paki.
Yeah.
Going down the Paki, mate.
I always feel bad because we have one of those little tiny in my area. There's no convenience store near where we live. There's just one of those tiny little random, ones, particularly that aren't as big here, I don't think, but certainly are big in Australia where it's just and certainly are big in the United Kingdom, which is one of those shops where you feel like they've just gone and bought everything from the supermarket and then put it in their shop and
Yeah.
there's no real
Yeah.
it's like batteries and bread and newspapers, but then cans of weird things and sweets from countries that you haven't really heard of.
Yeah, yeah.
And selling a lot of things that literally say on the package, not for individual resale.
Yeah.
Those people they've gone and bought a big thing of 18 ice creams and you're not meant to sell them
It says
individually.
not for individual resale.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not?
Literally the whole store is not for individual resale. It's
That's
the
what
not
it's
for
called.
individual resale.
Welcome to not for sale individual resale. Come again, thank you.
I don't think you're allowed to sell Tim Tams off a plate.
Do you want it or not?
40 cents each.
40 cents a Tim. 80 if you want the Tam. Just two. It's a special we're running. You get two for the price of a Tam.
So there used to be the guy. So this is the one that's just walking distance from the house, and you only go there. I will go there sometimes for the newspaper. If you're desperate for milk or cigarettes,
Right.
A Sunday morning can of Coke, that
Right.
sort of but really.
It's just for a quick pop-in.
Well, it's pretty much that thing of going, I am so hungover
Right.
or whatever
Right.
that I cannot take the 5 minutes of extra effort it would take to go to somewhere that'll actually have the things I want.
Right, so this'll do.
Yeah,
You'll do, friend.
This will do. I'm going to go into the not for individual
Oh, an
resale
apple.
shop.
Lucky
Yeah.
me.
Oh, yeah, I'm not buying fruit there. This is not a place I'm ever
No.
buying fruit. They're still advertising shit on the sign that they haven't sold for 20 years. It's it's one of those places. So I go in there and we used to call it There used to be like that. It used to be like the version. There was like an Asian version of like the soup Nazi guy ran it. So the other reason you'd never go there was that he just seemed really, really angry at you.
Right.
Every time you went into the shop.
Well, he was probably stressed out about the resale police coming at some point.
That's what he probably thought I was from the reseller police.
Yeah.
He noticed that I was examining.
You can't buy any of those. Take the Tim Tam for free.
Not a shop, a display.
The display. It's an artistic expression of capitalism. Can I see some identification, sir?
So he was angry. And so we got into the habit of saying, if I was going down, I'd go, hey, do you want anything from I'm going to go and visit the Angry Asian.
Right.
And he became in our mind this like comic book character.
Right.
The Angry Asian. But it wasn't racist.
No.
It was a description.
I think that's a fair description. I think that to me is rooted so much more in comedy than it is. I mean, that doesn't seem like a racist.
Well, and it was only Amy and I. It wasn't like I was like calling him the Angry Asian to other
through a
people.
megaphone down the street.
Yeah, or to his face.
Yeah. Right.
I wasn't like, what's up, AA?
Hey, what's up, Angry?
Angry?
How you doing, dog?
Hey, did you see the guy at the convenience store? You don't want to make him angry. He's always angry. Actually, he's always angry. That's his secret. His secret is he's always angry.
He's always angry and he's always Asian.
Yeah. Two things. You know
Two
what?
things I guarantee you about this individual.
Yeah. And he was never not angry, and he was never not Asian.
Yeah.
Right? And I would go down there and I would try to crack through too. Like I was like, I'm going to get... Because it was always my mission. Like I always had this kind of fantasy that one day I would like go back to the house and I'd be like, guess what?
Guess who had a little breakthrough down at the corner store today?
I'm going to tell you something. He's still Asian.
But my man's happy.
Right.
We got a happy Asian.
I wasn't even aiming for happy. I mean...
Normal?
Normal.
An Asian person.
I mean, apathetic. Anything other than angry.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Apathetic would be great.
Apathetic Asian.
Take whatever.
Right.
Aw. You okay, buddy?
Right. Despondent Asian, I'd be happy with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Confused Asian.
Do I work here or do you?
Right.
Yeah.
You'd be like, just a range of emotions. Show me something,
Yeah,
right? But all I would get was anger from this guy.
Yeah.
So never happened. Then I went away for I was on the road for 18 months or whatever. And I've gone back home, and it's a long time since, I've been down there, and I don't even really go down there that regularly anyway. But I just had started to have this longing. I was like, I want to go and visit Angry Asian.
You wanted to just see him. You didn't have a product.
I didn't have anything.
You didn't need any apples or just a razor that was sold from a pack of 18.
No. I just wanted to see the Angry Asian, and I went down there, and I walked through the door, and he wasn't angry anymore.
Really?
And it was just it was one of those moments where I was like, you know what? That's
You try to get him angry?
Yeah.
I have to go buy a gun. I want to see my old friend again. Get out of this store! There he is. Hello, old friend.
So I felt really good about that, and I was kind of like, oh, nice. It feels like things are going better in his life or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I've gone back and told Amy this, and she goes, oh, that's not the same guy, right?
Eesh.
And I was like...
Woo!
Remember when I was worried about that nickname being racist?
Woo!
So I will say this in my defense, and this is literally, this is one of those times where I wonder if, so obviously the cliche being, you think that this person is that person because they're both Asian, right? They all look the same to you.
Right.
This is one of those moments where here's what I need to say, and I know this sounds self-serving.
I think we're all very excited to hear what's about to happen.
They really do look the same.
These two do?
Yeah. If you did not know, these guys literally do.
It might be like a franchise store that you don't know about, and they can just sort of swap in and out versions of the similar man.
I feel like maybe it's a family thing.
Okay.
I feel like maybe in the business. It was
his balanced son finally took over?
Oh, it might be the next generation.
Yeah, which is always good.
Oh, Angry Asian Junior.
The next generation.
Oh, yeah. that's pretty good. Hang on, what time is it? Let's see. I can't see from here. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we got some time. Why don't we have another little break? You can eat your salad
Ooh, great.
if you'd like.
Sure.
And
I made a salad.
and then we might be able to squeeze one more in.
Great.
All right. Gareth Reynolds. So Reynolds Gareth on all the socials.
Yes.
The Dollop.
Yes.
Point versus Point.
Yes.
Live versions of the Dollop in
April 17th, 18th, New York and Chicago.
At the Bell House in
New York, and
at
then
Lincoln
at
Hall.
Lincoln Hall in Chicago, which is a great place. And yeah.
I know that we have heaps of listeners in. I don't know how many we have in New York, but I know that we have heaps in Chicago because they all came out and saw my shows when I was in town. So please go and see.
That's great.
The Dollop.
Yeah, I was just at Lincoln Hall, that theater. It's fucking great.
Is it?
Great place, yeah. So I'm excited.
All right. That is not where. No, Lincoln didn't get shot at the Lincoln Theatre, right?
No. That'd be
Was that
amazing.
wouldn't that be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. What are the odds? Poor bastard.
I was at the Lincoln Hall and I was in the John Wilkes booth. And
That's why Wilkes Booth got so upset. He was like, that was my booth. It said John Wilkes right above it. And not a lot of people know, too. It took 2 shots. Once through the top of the hat and then once through the bottom to be safe, because that thing was fucking tall.
he unloaded like 6 shots.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
just hat.
And Lincoln eventually took the hat off to inspect it, and he was like, there it is. There's the shot, finally. Damn, that took forever. Hopefully I can hit. This is my last bullet. The hat's seen better days.
My show, Fire at Will, is on sale at the moment. By the time you hear this, I don't know where I'll be, but it's on sale all around Australia. It's either been to where you are or it's coming to where you are.
Okay.
If you live in the major capital cities.
Get ready.
Excluding Tasmania. Sorry about that, Tasmania. I'd love to come to Tasmania. People often say, come to Tasmania. You'd sell out all your shows. And I'm like, no, actually, I wouldn't.
Why? How do you know
Because
that?
there's not enough people there, and we've been before.
Right. Okay.
So,
Well, that's your story checks out, Will.
yeah. Believe me, if we would sell at all my shows, I would come.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If there is anywhere that
Totally.
I am like a big enough act that I will sell out all my
Good news,
shows,
I'll be there.
guess what? We'll add some more shows.
I'll show you who can't sell out. I'll add so many shows people will not want me there.
So come and see that big live TOFOP show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, April the 9th. Daniel Sloss, Justin Hamilton, John Deeks, Charlie and myself, of course. Loads of other guests to be added as we go for that show. So it's not on sale yet, but you can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/TOFOP, if you want to support the podcast there as well. And something. That was it? That was probably it. Oh, no, April 21.
Oh, yeah. Our show.
Yes, our show at Nerd Melt. Gareth will be doing support for me when I do Fire at Will in LA. That is the week between the 2 Coachella weekends. So if you happen to be an Australian who's traveling over for Coachella and you're in LA during that week, that'd be a fun show to come and see. So there you go. All right, we'll talk to you again soon.